what are the advantages based on, compared to the old system?
I think it allows them to be in their strengths, which then gets the most out of them. Brenna comes in as a good passer, learning the pace of the game in terms of being a defender. Haven, who has struggled in the past passing, but was a good defender, but she's passed some great numbers the last 2 weeks. But nonetheless, it gives us just more fire and power behind it. That one match where I took Haven out of it, it was because we just needed some better options because Jordan was struggling in the back row. So that's one of the advantages with the position. You can put him in, take him out, put him in, take him out.
What have you assessed just kind of are some of the challenges the team has had through these first 5 conference games?
Serving, and we talked about that during preseason, but once again, I don't want to beat them up for it because the key is if we're going to play against a good team, we're going to have to serve the ball to keep pressure on them. And ASU is a great passing team, great defending team, so the nice thing, if you get it in, it gives you an option to be able to play some defense behind it, but we also know that if we give them free balls with that fast offense they ran, it was going to be tough. And so it was a great environment to play in. I hate to say that about the people up the road, but they had 4,630 fans, and I'm saying that number because I want 4,700 for our match next week. But nonetheless, that's been one of the biggest challenges, and just being consistent across the board. We'll have some players hot and then some players not hot that we've relied on in the past. But we had a good week of practice here, if you want to call it a week.
Obviously, this is a critical 3 games here. At 1 and 4 for you to kind of maybe put yourselves in a nice position for down the stretch. Do you look at it as, we really got to at least take 2 of these or all 3?
Well, one of the things that we say is that we want to defend our home court at all costs, and that's really important. We're still in set 3, and so we're talking about that a lot with the players, making sure that we're ready to go to finish strong in set 3 so that we can have a better start in set 4. But, we had, I didn't really look at everyone else's schedule, but our schedule was tough in terms of going into the Big 12, playing ranked opponents and opponents receiving votes. But all of that's just an excuse. And yes, I want to win the next 2 matches, but it's one match at a time and one day at a time. And, Colorado's a good team, so they're going to come in here, and they're very statistical in what they do. So they are all about numbers. And so the key is for us to be able to play well in our numbers and then have some people ready when it's not their number.
Jalen's really raised your game since conference, except for that one off match, that TCU match. What has helped her be more consistent, especially since conference play?
At the end of the day, I'm going to attribute it to being able to practice the entire time, just so she's not warming up in sets or feeling like there's a lot of pressure on her to perform right off the bat when she hasn't been able to do much in the front row. Now, she's always practiced, don't get me wrong, but, she just wasn't doing everything at the net, and that's very common with fifth-year players as well, but it's just the norm.
We saw Ziona do that her 5th year, that it was a career year, something that she had not really done before. Is that what you're seeing from Jalen?
I am seeing that from her. I want to continue to see it, see it. I want to continue to see her do that and just feel comfortable in the role that she walked into, not really understanding, but willing to do. And so I'm proud of her right now.
You'd mentioned Jordan struggling a little bit on the back row. Is that something that's fixable? Is that something where you have to kind of just pick and choose where to use her, when to use her back there?
You have to use her at the right time in the right situation. So depending on who the opponent is, we got to put as much firepower in front of them as possible, and it will keep pressure off of Carly of having to do everything. This week of practice, she came in, got a lot of good reps. And for Jordan, it's not a matter of can she do it. It's just can she stay calm to do it versus allowing her brain to get too fast or be too delayed. And once again, it's common when you're learning to be a 6th rotation player. It's probably the hardest position to go from being a part-time player to a full-time player.
Have you evaluated Avery through the conference phase?
Avery's been okay. She's been good. I think she struggled a little bit up at ASU, but Anna went in and stepped in and did a great job. And like I said before, nothing is a sure fit, but, you have to name someone as a starter. But, she's a freshman, so she'll go through the woes and flows. And like these type of matches, she thrives in because we're home and she wants to do well. And typically right after she doesn't do so well, she comes back and does a phenomenal job.
What are the most common mistakes that freshmen set?
setting the wrong person at the wrong time, or not setting the right, so in club, no one really talks about why you set where you set. So typically, you'll have a great hitter on your team and you just dish them the ball every time. Well, when you get to college, it doesn't work like that. You have to be able to spread the offense a little bit. And so for us, we've been talking a lot about using the back row more in system versus out of system. It's obvious when you're out of system, and then the attacker tries to do too much. The key is to set that person when you're in system, and it keeps the blockers honest.
And in the past, there was a lot of stats given to the setters, and I know Anna said when, her first year or so that it was too much for her sometimes. Do you guys still do a lot of stats, and how is that working with them?
So, yes, can you give me that? I want to talk about it. So what we do, thank you. What we do is we give the information a day after, 2 days before type thing. And so one of the things we talk about is the setter distribution on a perfect pass and a good pass. So when we're going to play Colorado, for example, they commit block, they read, they do a lot of different things, and they're banking on the odds of the ball going there, and then we'll take those chances. And so that's what we talk to them about in terms of setting. And then we also talk about it on when we're out of system, where's the ball going and why, and, what hitter is set in this rotation versus that rotation. When you're a good setter, back to your question, when you're a good setter, you use all of your hitters, but at the end of the day, you put the ball in the hands of your terminator. And so I can't remember which match it was where Jordan and Jalen were struggling a little bit, and Avery didn't know who to set because it's like, okay, I put the ball in an attackable window, I set the person who's in a position to score, I set my hot hitter. Well, neither one of my pins are my hot hitter right now. What do I do? That's when freshmen struggle.
How do you feel in general about the passing game this year?
It's better than it was last year. So, I'll take that and run and smile and be happy. But it's something that we will always work on because if we can pass, I believe we can play with anyone. We have the physicality to be able to play and, keep ourselves in matches and sneak some away. Whereas last year, it was like, okay, if we don't pass, we're in trouble. And so now we're in a better position where, 2 passes are good passes. Back when I played, it was a 3 or bust. And now you can, the kids are so much more physical. You can pass a 2 ball and still be in a position to score.
What do you want to see most this weekend?
I want to see us compete from beginning to end. I want to see us not be afraid at the moment. Colorado has gone, they've had 8 5-set matches, which means they understand what it means to battle and compete the entire time, so they're not going to quit. And so I think that'll be a good challenge for us. If we're up, they're going to still be there fighting. If we're down and they're up, they're going to still fight to finish it off. So the key is for us to battle and compete the entire time.
Go ahead.
Do you have any thoughts on what's going on with San Jose State and teams opting not to play them?
How do I say this? Katie didn't prepare me for this. I think that it's a hard place to be in. I think that when you have your own values and your belief system, but you're being asked possibly to go against it, or you're okay with it. A lot of people in this generation is like, hey, nothing matters. It doesn't matter to me. Whereas there's others who have strong convictions. I think it's very hard. I think that I feel for San Jose State. I feel for the opponents because it's a no-win situation. I think that media will abuse you in a heartbeat for having an opinion, and I think that everyone should have their own opinion and be able to walk in that and it be okay.
How would you handle that with your team?
I would allow the team to decide what is best for them. I would give people who do not want to be a part of it for whatever their reasons are not to do it. And then if we can't field a team that is going to be a competitive team, then we wouldn't play either.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks, Rita.
Yes, thank you.